I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with Brad Kuipers. He is a storyteller with a knack for crafting fantastical worlds. He is introducing readers to Eldrin, a land of mesmerizing landscapes and perilous creatures. In his thrilling novel, Chronicles of Eldrin Book 1, Manipulator, he weaves a tale of heroism, treachery, and a desperate race for power, set against the backdrop of looming war between the giant-led Bynder Kingdom and the human Machellia Kingdom. This is an amazing read you won't want to miss. We are delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. And we thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Brad, so good to see you here today.
Thank you very much, Logan. It's great to be here.
You know, as a man who is 6'6", I'm torn whether I would be in the human kingdom or the giant kingdom. Or I might be able to bridge the gap between the two. I don't know. This is a great story you've created. How did you come up with it?
I came up with this playing fantasy games with my siblings. I grew up on a farm. I had lots of siblings to play with. So we created fantasy games. Video games weren't really where they are now. So we expressed our desire for more elaborate fantasy worlds just through play.
Exactly. And that's the best play. It's also the best mind development, and it's the best way to keep that creative spark that I think a lot of us have as we're kids, but we lose as we get older. And obviously, absolutely, you have not lost it. Let's give the folks at home the big picture. What is Manipulator all about?
So this is about a fantasy realm exploring some of the themes like good versus evil, and more importantly, what is good and what is evil. What is good to somebody may be perceived as evil to somebody else, whereas what is evil to somebody may be perceived as something positive for somebody else. So I do explore the intricacies of those themes in my book, as well as using mental health to help me really flesh out and develop my characters. As we, as humans, discover more about mental health, we discover more how trauma affects the development of people, really creating real life characters. And I try to incorporate that into my writing to give my characters a little bit more realism in a fantasy realm.
Absolutely. And I absolutely think you succeeded. Now, you have 7 sentient species in Eldrin. Tell us a little bit about the unique characteristics and cultures of these species and how they influence the storyline.
Oh, there's so much, and I have so much fun creating different ideas and different cultures. I even now, as I'm writing it, I don't have everything fully fleshed out. I sort of only touch on some of the species in my first book. As I write more, I will definitely incorporate more of my species and shed more spotlight on them. But for now, I have 2 sort of reptilian species, the Comos and the Thalamus, and they split off. I try to create a little bit of a believable evolutionary split. Mm-hmm. And they split off as one admiring sort of a craftsmanship culture and the other heavily resorting to like a militaristic Roman type culture. I also have elves, not really Lord of the Rings style elves, more like the Fae from Irish and Scandinavian folklore. They're kind of a smaller, more mystical, spiritual people, not really like the tall, majestic, powerful, Legolas type of person. I do incorporate a race called the Taminals, which are like small fox-like peaceful beings, and I use them to show how peaceful creatures don't thrive in my land. They don't really have much of their own settlements anymore. They couldn't hold them. I have a species of underground creatures called gnolls who are extinct in my book. It's a sentient species that have gone extinct, which I think is important to talk about. as well as giants who were former slaves to humans. They were bred to be bigger and stronger, and eventually they became their own race. And then I have humans as well. And humans are easily the most prolific and warlike species in my book.
As they are in real life as well.
In real life.
Yeah, exactly. A little mirroring going on there. Now, have you worked or completed any other books in the series? How many books do you imagine there being? Tell us a little bit about your progress.
I currently do not have any other books finished, but I do have other books in the process of writing. I'm currently writing my second book right now. I'm about probably maybe a quarter of the way through what I would like to have for my finished product. And my ultimate plan is to write indefinitely within this series, perhaps creating a group of trilogies. And each trilogy would follow either a different timeline or different characters throughout my series. One of the things I really love about writing in a fantasy world is creating my own history, very much like J.R. Tolkien does. I take a lot of inspiration from him, and I do like creating a deep and vibrant history with different changes in cultures and different technological advancements over time. And I plan to show that through writing many more books.
You seem like you've got quite an intelligentsia about you. What do you do when you're not writing books? Are you like a scientist or something? Tell us a little bit about you.
Not at all. No, when I'm not writing books, for the most part, I'm spending time with my children. I'm a single full-time dad. I have two young girls, 12 and 7, and they take up a lot of my time. They're very busy. Especially for the summer. And when they're at school, I have 6 hours to write, and then the rest of the time is spent with my children. And before that, I grew up on a dairy farm, and I've done a lot of labor jobs in my time, which is really what the economy is around where I live. So no, it's
well, you've got a great imagination, and you've got a
the outlet
real
for my mind is writing. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Now, let's say the phone rings and you look at it and you see Christopher Nolan is calling you, and he's picked up your book and he wants to get some input from you. He's not sure if it'll be a series or of TV shows or a series of movies. Who do you think, how do you think this would best be represented on film? Would it be animation? Would it be live action? Who would be some of your stars? Who would play Calf, for example, the legendary hero from a bygone era rather? Tell us about that.
Okay, well, I actually have thought about who would play Calf if it ever went to a live action series. You know, Gerard Butler would just be the perfect sort of example for Calf. He almost looks agelessly middle-aged. You know, he's always got that sort of late 30s, early 40s look to him. And he's got that physique, that sort of dad, but strong,
buff.
But buff physique to him.
Yeah.
So Gerard Butler is sort of how I even picture Calf as I'm writing him. He's got the dominant personality. I do like that. As far as my other actors, I haven't really fleshed out in my mind who would be the best fit for all of them.
Have you thought about writing a screenplay at all?
Actually, I have, yeah. And I have two siblings one sibling went to Queen's University, and the other went to in Toronto. I believe he went to Ryerson University, and both of them took dramatic arts. And they both have screenplay experience. So either one of my siblings could probably screenplay my book fairly, I'm not going to say easily, but with expertise at least. I would love to eventually see my series into like a Netflix adaptation, like a television show, more so than a movie. I think that's become largely the future of what people want to watch is, you know, they would rather watch 3 1-hour episodes than 1 3-hour movie.
Exactly. And sort of, if you love the world, you love the characters, you love what's happening, you want to stay in that world, and you like the time that it takes, or the time that is taken for the story to unfold in a series, as opposed to a movie where you have to cut to the chase all the time. Sounds great. So it sounds like the Kuiper brothers are going to be on the map, you with your book, your brother is helping you with the screenplay. Maybe one will be the screenplay writer, another will be a director. You
And
never
one of
know.
them's a sister too. One of them's a sister too.
And a sister too. That sounds great. That sounds great. Before we leave you today, anything you'd like the folks that know to know about Manipulator?
Really, it's for entertainment first and foremost. I hope I do have some very heavy themes in my book, but I hope my readers can get entertainment, and I hope that they can be transported to another world. Perhaps some things that are weighing heavily on their minds can temporarily be put off to the side. They can enjoy being immersed into a whole nother reality and find some escapism, find some joy, find something a little bit lighter than their everyday grind, in my words.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a great escape. The name of the book is Chronicles of Eldrin Book 1, Manipulator. Brad has woven a tale of heroism, treachery, and a desperate race for power set against the backdrop of looming war. It is a wonderful story, unique characters, a unique world he has created. You will love living inside this book. Brad, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.